So for years I've been wanting to get a drum sander, and I was finally able to do it. I ordered a Supermax 1938 from acmetools.com. They had free shipping, so that was the best place for me to get it. Anyway, a few days after ordering it, it showed up on a pallet with 3 or 4 boxes. I figured it'd be easier to put the stand together first, and actually that's what the instructions said, so that's where I started. It is a bit of a time-consuming process getting this all put together, but it's really not that hard. It probably took 2 or 3 hours from the time I opened the box until I had it ready to turn on. Once I had the stand all put together, I put some locking casters on it. I didn't order the casters that Supermax makes. They're about $90 or $100 for a set of 4. I found a set of 4 on Amazon that were like $40, and they fit just right, worked really great. I'll include a link in the description for those casters. Now, when you cut the box open for the drum sander itself, you're going to want to make sure you've got one other person at least to help you lift the drum sanding unit onto the stand itself. It is pretty heavy. There's a couple bolts that hold the plywood on underneath. You need to take those bolts off, and you can use those to then attach the whole unit to the stand. Once those are all in place, then you can raise the sanding head and take out that block, that shipping block. You got to put the handle on first. Once that's all on, then it's time to put the conveyor unit in. It's a little awkward, but it's not that heavy, so it's not too bad. I also ordered the infeed and outfeed tables. Make sure you pay attention to the instructions because I read them wrong, and when I attached the first roller, which actually was the outfeed roller, I put the whole thing together and then attached it, which made it really hard to actually get it mounted and tightened up. You're supposed to start with just the frame of the outfeed table, get that mounted, and then add the center plate after it's done, and then go ahead and level that. I read the instructions wrong and I put them all together and then tried to attach it, and it was a real pain in the butt. So when I finished that and moved to the infeed table, I reread the instructions, mounted the frame for the infeed table, and then mounted the actual table itself. And once you've got the infeed and outfeed tables mounted, you want to use a good straight edge to make sure that the actual plates of the infeed and outfeed table are level with the conveyor. It only takes a 120 volt outlet, and it does come with a strip of 80 grit sandpaper already attached. Now, you're supposed to make sure, once it's all assembled, that the sanding head is parallel with the conveyor, but I was too excited, so I just went straight into testing it out on some stock that I had sawn up previously, and it did really well. I also have this huge cutting board that I made years ago that has been due for a refinishing. I just haven't got around to it, so I decided to run it through and get it stripped down, and it did really well on both of these things. After I was done playing with it, then I decided to go through the process of actually making sure that the sanding head is parallel with the conveyor. Mine was off a little bit, But the process isn't too hard. You just have to take the sanding belt off, get a piece of wood, stick it on one end, lower it until the sanding head won't turn, go up about a turn, try it on the other end, tighten it down to the same spot, and see if you can move the board. If you can move the board, then the outside edge of the sanding head needs to be lowered, and that little bolt right there in the center, you need to turn it from right to left to lower, left to right raises the table. So there's a little back and forth, trial and error, to make sure you get this just right. Swapping out the sanding belts is relatively easy. It's a little tricky on the right hand side at first, but once I figured out how to get the paper in just the way it wanted, that wasn't too bad either. With a brand new belt, you might have to go back and adjust the tension on it after you've run it a little bit. On one of the belts I tried, after a few passes with the board, it did get a little bit loose, but it's really easy to tighten it back up. You just loosen the clip, slide the paper in tight, and then let go of the clip, and the clip, as it tightens, actually adds tension to the sanding belt. Overall, I'm extremely impressed. I'm very happy with this purchase. It did take a while to get because it is an expensive tool. The base price is $13.99, I believe. The outfeed tables are another $100. But I'm very happy with the unit. I've got a lot of plans for things that I want to make that this will really help out with. A lot of cutting boards, a lot of bent lamination. Bent lamination is really the primary reason that I got it. Anyway, thanks for watching. If you want to see more of the things that I do in my shop, please subscribe. And if you like this video, go ahead and hit that like button. Thanks, we'll see you next time.